Ayo, ayo, ayo. Welcome to the SA Hip Hop Roundtable 2024, brought to you by the Masterclass Podcast, live from M Studios in Newtown, Johannesburg. My name is Rashid K, the HNIC head nigga in charge, the Beast Ran God. You already know. Yo, before I introduce my panelists here, disclaimer, I need to say this on camera. I reached out to about 5 ladies to be part of the panel, but unfortunately they were not available, and I couldn't follow up over and over, send an email. You know how sensitive it is with females. You can't be sending WhatsApp messages and phone calling anytime. So you send an email and one text and wait, And then the next day, I'm following up on the previous email, So I did reach out. So this is not the true reflection of SA Hip Hop. We have a lot of sisters who are active in the culture. Done and over with. Introducing my panelists, my guests, my people that I trust. I'll start from the far right, my partner, OG Samke from the...
Pause on that partner, pause on the partner.
Yeah.
Business partner.
Yeah.
Masterclass partner.
Come on, you guys are
money making partner.
You
guys,
guys,
that sounds better.
You guys are too sensitive with that after 9 stuff.
Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, he's my partner on the Masterclass podcast. His name is OG Samke. Give it up for him.
Woo. Shout out, man. Thank you, guys. This is episode 139 of the Masterclass podcast. And it's because of people like you guys who watch it week in, week out. Even if it's 2 people or 10 people, we appreciate everyone who's here. So please give yourselves a round of applause as well.
That's what's up. That's what's up. You don't have to talk. I'm just introduce you. Next to him is the host of Youthquake podcast. It's also on the Masterclass network. For the youth, for the youngins, his name is King Future Mfana. Give it up. Next to him, we have another hip-hop activist. He's there on Radio 2000 pushing hip-hop. He's there on 5FM pushing hip-hop. He has a podcast, Hip Hop on the Grind. His name is Overyt. Give it up for Overyt, y'all. And then next to me, right here, next to me, we have the Messiah of Kasi Rap. This guy, without this guy, I doubt we'd be still talking about Kasi Rap. His name is SpeeKa, yo. Sotra Cyphers. And then I have my peer there. He's done a lot, everybody. He needs no introduction, man. Siyamitane, King Slikour, Squatter Camp, Bada Bing, Ventilation, Slikour on Live. We can go on and on. Give it up for Slikour. Last but not least, the king of Olof is going to introduce himself.
The Lord of all love and all love, among us guys, having no love. Lord of the light-skinned baby daddies, Lord of the babies, Lord of the fit. Shade game is a verdict. It goes on forever, but we'll keep it short. You feel me?
Give it up for the Lord, yo. Give it up for the Lord. Yo, this round table is about the solutions and the future of SA Hip Hop. We're not here to complain. Radio's not playing us. Oh, this and that. No, we've heard all the problems, and we're gonna focus on the positivity and the solutions. SA Hip Hop did well this year, in terms of visibility, eventing, music. You know, MT is on 10 million streams.
Yeah,
Shout out
that's
MC.
crazy.
Give it up, give it up.
MC.
That's crazy.
You know, that's crazy. Usmaman is on 10 million streams on his debut. That's big.
Crazy.
You know what I mean? So we're gonna look at what worked this year and how can we enhance it moving forward to make hip hop in 2025 even bigger and better than 2024. You know, shout out to Zakwe in Durban. He's doing big things in terms of eventing. He has Hood versus Hood, you know, in Bed Center. It's huge, and it made a difference for KZN hip hop and KZN Lockdown Cypher, you know. And on the digital side, Slikour, Zingah, Sotra Cypher, Hip Hop on the Grind, Youth Quake, they're all here. They're doing big things on the digital space. You know, we're gonna look at that and how we can enhance it moving forward, you know. So
I think Rashid, based just to piggyback off what you're saying, the numbers look way better this year in terms of singles and songs that came out, all the people you mentioned, as compared to last year. We sat here last time, we complained that niggas aren't listening to the music, no one's streaming hip hop. That was the issue. Now we've seen the solution, right? And we're seeing the numbers are going up. What do you guys, as the panelists, think is some of the things that contributed to our music being streamed more? Like MT going 10 mil in a few days is quite lit, actually.
Overyt.
Yeah, shout out to everybody here. With regards to the MT thing, I think it was more of an anticipation. DIY, we have been waiting for a very long time. And with the Usmamani thing, just to answer your question, it's more on the control of the narrative. So if we as a culture were to select our people to like represent us as SA hip hop, we can then, I won't say control people's moves and all that, but then guide them to actually making a good decision by actually consuming our work. So this year, Usmamani has been on everybody's mouths, right? And you can also see it with the streams and all that, right? Quality of the music, it's still something we can talk about, but then based on all of that, that by itself, he's basically our guy. So now, with that being said, it's a matter of us as digital people and all that, creating narratives that everybody should be following, and then see everything crackle from the top. I don't know what everyone else thinks.
Would you say it's marketing more than the music itself?
It's more my perspective. I think it's more on the marketing. I think it's more on the team supporting the artist as well. Yeah, it's more marketing and the team behind it. I don't know what Slikour thinks. He knows.
I don't know. I don't think it's the marketing. I think it's just a sign of the times. You know, I think there's a shift. You know, when you talk about MT, you talk about Aries, you talk about Nasty. It's like, yeah, it's obvious, right? That doesn't mean that hip hop is moving. You know, because they are stars. You know. But when you talk about Smimani, you talk about Tony, who was also like really occupying the charts, you know. You talk about 25K, who basically also dropped and was really occupying the charts, you know. You talk about like KO, who's obviously an OG in the game, but he never dropped Sete. He Let Me Cook, literally like does something on the charts, you know. So when you look at that, you know, you kind of look at the whole collective of artists that even Maglera, you know, coming in. You look at the whole collective of artists who are not new, who are occupying the charts. I think that's what's exciting, and seeing the new guys, because MT, like you say, it's anticipation. And I go as far as going, Smaman, when Check came out, nobody even knew what this guy looks like. You know, I mean, that was the one thing we were saying. Who's this guy that sings Check, right? And then he came through, and he came with with the album, and the album also did well, but it also came out on the same week as Reese. Now, you know, that reminds me of like the Kanye and 50 Cent drop, like when Kanye and 50 Cent went head to head. Although they never deliberately did that, that was a moment for hip hop. Like a new guy and an OG literally like really like being in the same charts, almost like clashing, and then the OG kind of like disappears from the charts, but the new guy is still on the charts. You know, that talks to music more than any, and then to see if it was marketing, when Tony comes, Tony also benefits simply off that. Now, those are the guys that are on the charts. Then you got guys who are not on the charts, but just have a movement, like the Quellas of the world, you know. Then you have, and then you had, what is Nash, you know, Kindly Nash and Baby Days and all those guys, right? Then you've got guys like Touchline. So essentially, there are two layers of like success, which you can say you're not messing with the other guys, but you're messing with these guys. So there are two layers, and for the first time in a long time, we're not just looking at like one, like, I mean, you know, you look at a Keenan, a Ricky, and that there's always a top tier, but there's never a mid. Even if there's mid is always associated with top tier. And I'm not saying El Tito and them were mid during KO's time. I'm just saying that they were associated with the top tier. The layers was associated with, they weren't doing the sales of a Keenan, but they were still associated with the KO. They were still, you know what I mean? But you don't find, I don't think the Quellas really came and were associated with Smamani or anyone, Touchline or Kindly Nash. It's all, these are all cliques who are mid, and when I say mid, I mean like with regards to reception. Yeah, mid-tier, you know what I mean? But like, and then there's a high level. In this year, we've literally, both those things have happened out of the blue, you know what I mean? And that's what's exciting.
True. Moving forward, as upcoming artists, what do we take from those to make it for ourselves?
My simple thing is that there's a place for everybody, you know?
Yeah.
And this is what's crazy, you know? Reese does not sound like Smamani. MT does not sound like Reese. Tony doesn't even sound like Smamani also. You know, like cadence-wise, like, you know, 25K doesn't even sound like any one of these other guys. You know what I mean? Blackie, we even forgot to talk about Blackie. Literally, like, Blackie doesn't sound like any one of these guys. I mean, Kindly Nash then doesn't sound like any of these guys that we've just mentioned here. You know what I mean? Touchline, you know, is like a streets kind of hood kind of rapper who's like cleaned up and everything, but he still doesn't fit into the sound of all these other guys. Yo, so what we have in every aspect right now is variety. That's what's, you see, it's not like, you see, the only thing that made hip-hop like feel like it's stagnant is that we never had variety. Now you can literally go, I'm going to listen to Smamani, I listened to Frank Casino's album, it doesn't sound like everything else that was also out also. But like people are talking about it. That's when we're saying that, the culture is actually, I mean, I also listen to Boyti and Roy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That shit is totally, and then you got Slick, DJ Slick, all those things are not the same. So what it means is that there's a place for you, but the question is, how different is your style and how much are you pushing yourself right now? There's a place for everybody if you got a different style and you're pushing yourself. Because none of these guys sound alike, you know?
True. Moving forward, you can. I need to know that we know in 2024 we had diss tracks, people dissing each other back and forth. Did that help with the sales? Pass the mic.
No, because like literally you had Big Zulu and Duncan's diss. But we've forgotten about it. It never kind of.
But did it help Duncan's album?
I think that like it's for me, like if Duncan is gonna use it, if he doesn't use it, he'll be foolish, right? It's like you've got this guy who's big, he must use it. So once again, it's a pivot for Duncan, if anything. You know, you've got the Smamani Aries thing, but this thing is not happening pre-day sales. This thing is happening while they're doing well. It's not like it's helping the art form. You know, people who are listening to some of this shit, they're listening to this shit in the middle of a piano, and they don't care about y'all rap guys. They're like, oh, okay. And then because these, you know, right now, rap battles were such a big thing back in the day, because A, there was cultural, because B, there wasn't enough social media to make you forget, right? So right now, there's so many things that are happening that the rap battle is actually the moment for the artists to pivot as far as they can. And if it worked for Duncan, that was the opportunity. But between Reese and Smamani, you can't say that it's helping them pivot. It's just the nature of the culture where like where guys with heavy numbers are clashing. And for us that are interested, we go, oh, I want to see how this is going to turn out. But for other people, they're like, hey, barapa kakhulu ingoma imnando dlala le mnandi abanandaba nale yokubhethila leyo idrope ku YouTube ku Audio Maker kanne bafuna le. The numbers are not coming from rappers. The numbers are coming from people enjoying different kinds of music. Yithi kuphela isicanga with this battle thing is a big deal. and it's fair, but we also deserve to have our own piece of the cake and go, this is a big deal because it's our thing. We understand it. But for other people, it's like you use a computer and you go enter and you type. There's someone who's building the software of the computer goes, the processor is so slow. That's how we are. We like the processor is so slow, but everyone else is just typing and pressing send on email. Abanandaba ukuthi process is slow. They just like funny email like it was a reject of my mail. Yeah. Mara, there is a tech guy. You see how they built it? It's wrong. They should have done it like that's rappers. You know what I mean? We're so worried about technique, but we are niche. But there's a bigger world that's just like you understand? And that's it. And that's one thing. And the reason why I say that is that remember, if you guys, because the next question is how do you guys grow? Remember, your audience are not rappers. Your audience are your neighbors. Your audience are the people you grew up around. Your audience are the guys who literally say, but I didn't rap, but they not, because that's your audience. You understand? So that's not your audience, and that's one thing that a guy like Java has identified very well. His audience is not even like, but Java's one of the dopest rappers. You know what I mean?
Facts. Yeah, just in agreement, I guess. But to answer what your question was, I think the diss tracks were cool for like moments on the internet, and it's like for the talkability in the culture, because I mean the hip hop space also is a culture. So yeah, the charts and the songs and the albums coming out is dope, but I think it did hold the culture down as far as giving the people on the ground shit to talk about. Like, oh shit, this nigga just said this about that nigga, but it also is just something that lives only just for that week and then niggas move on. So what Slikour is saying is very right. I think as interesting as that is and as entertaining as it may be, I don't think that niggas should get too caught up. If we're speaking to the people in the audience who are up and coming artists coming into the game, I don't think niggas should get too lost in trying to go at other niggas. I feel like that's cute if you want to have that type of moment, but get your jams right. Like, get the jams. People just jam the jams.
Oh, you also in a diss thing, huh? Yeah, you know what I mean? You're also being dissed.
Yeah. People like talking about me.
There's a diss song that's out at you, and we're still waiting for you to respond.
For what?
From Luna, bruh.
No, you waiting for what?
You respond.
So, my biggest gripe with the whole beef and all of that is that, remember when Big Zulu dropped the first, I think it was 150 bars, everyone was like, now hip hop is alive again, ha. That's the thing that always got to me, because, guys in the digital space were constantly putting in work, but but I mean like the listeners, they only consider hip hop alive when people are at war, right? And an indicator that there is some movement this year is that it happened again, it was 200 bars, but no one was like, hip hop is alive again, because there was good music being dropped, right? So I think as long as we keep making and dropping good music, no one's gonna care about your beef, Yeah, if you're gonna beef, set up, the songs, or meet up in the ring. Like there's battle leagues that are right there waiting,
Yeah, that's true. And I was telling OG that 2024 is the best year for SA hip hop since COVID. Like that's counting from 2020. This is the best year since then. Because of
I might argue that this year, and we'll only get to see what next year looks like. I might argue that this year probably is bigger than 2013, 14, 15. I might argue that
you're reaching.
And I'll tell you why. Well, I'm saying this year, I think it's gonna be bigger. This year is the foundation of something bigger, and I'll tell you why. Because you see, when KO dropped Kara Kara and he wins 1 million streams, when Casper came out, when Nasty, this year is the version of what was happening at that time. Right? Yeah. But the magnitude, it's the start. That was the start when KO got the 1 million streams for the first time on YouTube, and Casper was the data file host like years, the beginning, right? This year, this is the reflection of that beginning, like almost like in 2013, 14.
Yeah.
But even that, the magnitude of this beginning is bigger than the beginning of. So that's why I say I'll argue, because I think the foundation currently is already bigger than the foundation than it was 10 years ago when the guys were starting. So when I say I might argue, I mean like next year we might see things get bigger than where we like.
I get where you're coming from, but I disagree.
That's okay. You've got your own mind. And I don't.
2014, this year we celebrated 10 years of Levels, 10 years of Tulufelo, and 10 years of Skanda Republic. Those albums were huge. They even had songs that were songs of the year across the board. Not just a nice hip hop song. They had Kara Kara, they had Dog Shebeleza, they had your Run Josie and all those tracks from Levels. It was not just hip hop is lukewarm. It was hot across all genres. They scoop all the awards, the Metros, the Summers, everywhere. I can't say. So. Yeah, it's the foundation. That was the foundation. No, I'm saying 10 years later.
I'm saying that when Kara Kara literally dropped as a single. I don't remember if it dropped as a single.
It dropped as a single before Skanda Republic.
So this was in 2013.
2013.
Right?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that you were telling me of like the fruits of 2013, which were happening in 2014, right?
Yeah.
I'm saying this 2024 is today's 2013.
Okay.
It's the foundation. So I'm saying next, and already today's 2024 or today's 2013.
Yeah.
The year looks bigger than the 2013 of.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I'm just saying I might argue, because we'll only see though the results next year.
So you're saying 2025 might be bigger than 2014?
Yeah.
I believe so.
Can I say something?
So.
Can I say something?
I get you.
Can I say something? So, me, how I feel about this.
Don't hold the mic like a rapper. Give it some space. Yeah.
Crazy, hard.
Yeah.
So how I feel about this is that era we had, 2013, 2014 times, it was a manifestation for what is happening right now, because how that era happened was through rappers finding their identity as South Africans, with abo aka sampling South African house music, using vernacular more, making it cool. And then now we're having everything that happened during that era in tenfold. I don't know if you get it. So in a way, the same way abo aka we're doing those samples, we have abo audio sims doing that right now. We have the gents telling stories through music in their own way. And when I say in their own way, we have people telling their own stories. You don't have to be something you're not for you to do it to come up now, young Tala. And in another way, I do feel ukuthi this year is nothing compared to what's gonna come up next year, because right now we have so much diversity and variety as hip hop and as the kids right now in the streets, and we have our OGs pulling us up. And for the first time in a long time, like there's a breakthrough. The SA Hip Hop Awards might just as well like come back right now, because there's so much things happening in this short space of time. And yeah, that's how I feel. It's basically a manifestation of what happened back then. Yeah.
Yeah, now shout out to your point, bro. So we can just all agree that we are now in a new era of hip hop. And based on like the research and what everyone has been saying over the years, an era can be marked or defined by a 10-year space. So with what everyone is saying here, we can all agree that we are in a new era of hip hop. So I think my question now would then be, what do we then look forward to in this new era, based on what you're saying and what you guys have been saying?
Future Mfana, as a kid, as the future, what is it that the OGs are missing, are not seeing, that could move the culture forward?
First thing first, okay, let me start it like from the roots of the whole situation. The reason hip hop right now is at this stage, I would feel like our generation was having an identity crisis for some time, young Tala. And the only way we could counterattack that crisis was speaking our stories, like like, because what's happening now, every single one who's blowing up like that, there's something called isiqu sasemzansi. It's your own inside, yabo, and you don't have to copy anyone else to achieve that inner goal. We get kids like Abo Kindly Nash. He's not saying I'm South African, he's literally saying Shona Man, but then he will have reference lyrics like Orlando Pirates, and you're like, shit, I relate to that. Orlando Pirates, legit. It's something each and every one of us relates to. And unless we tell our stories in our own way, the only thing the OGs can do is not judge and let us speak. Just let us speak. Don't monitor the talent. Just let it up. Open it up for the talent. That's how I feel.
For me, I argue once again. I always feel that like there's a sort of a misinterpretation all the time, of like hip hop and its sound. To be honest with you, like King Future, and I've had this argument with Zingah also, so I'm gonna go back to it again. Life is just like the sound of South African hip hop literally was really established 30 years ago, by 30 years plus by Prophets of the City and I forgot the Black Noise.
Black Noise.
But what they did, they created a sound that literally worked for Cape Town. You know what I mean? And this is where I had to correct somebody on social media also. Like what Scotta Camp created, they created the sound for South Africa, right? So the thing is that, like, obviously, like everything, as Squatter Camp grows, Jabba comes and creates a sound from Motswako, or the Motswako team creates a sound for a hip hop sound. So you see, when everybody goes, yeah, you know, the Keenans and them, but no, the sound was already there. The only thing is that we, like everyone, started getting older. And the things that we were saying were not connecting with the South African youth, although it was still a South African sound, right? So because the South African youth, all the time, all of us, our first point of departure with hip-hop is something international. So if we were not connecting, they were connecting to, say, Drake. You know, they were connecting to, say, Wayne. You know, so that our generation was saying, I let play about Drake, Nabo Wayne. They were disconnecting from that. Unreleasing lengomas in that, you know. So the thing is that the sound has always been there, it just evolves, right? But then when these kids start connecting from Drake and Wayne, then one of them literally says something that they go, you found our sound. So the sound is always there. It's just that the people who carry the sound, like everything, get older and they don't always connect with the core and the core, because now we are like, Sen Kulman Manj. You understand? So we must also understand that age, it's a normal thing. Like your father, your parent, your old, they'll literally like tell you one thing that your friend tells you it, but when your friend says it, it sounds like, yeah, you can resonate. But when it comes from someone older, it sounds like, yo, you understand? So the sound is there. It's just that there starts becoming a breakdown of communication in the generations. Why I say this is that if we keep on thinking that the sound came from like Keenan and came from Casper and they started speaking a language, then the new generation literally then doesn't know the history. They do an injustice because they're going to forget about them too. Everybody's going to say the Kwela started with the Kwa, started speaking that. But this literally is a root of our story. That's why you've got the museum. You know what I mean? So I'm saying this just to say that let's know that the sound has always been there. No one is doing anything new. Everybody's just improving the old. Do you know what I mean? And that's what the new generation does. Because if you guys know you're improving the old, you start knowing your roots and you start going, let me go learn, let me go ask the OG this, let me go. So even your questions start becoming more smarter. They don't start coming like, we the youth, we cooler, we know. No. Everything is old. But the new guys literally find a way to literally make it new for them. You know, so when you make it new if you want it to last forever, find out where the old literally like started like we're dropping the ball or where they got it wrong, because your questions will be better. And one more thing I want to say also on the thing of rap, for some of us, I mean, I've made hit songs, it's great. And I said, the reason why I brought Zingah in, when Zingah was saying his best album or his greatest album or the classic hip hop album was KO's album, you know? And I said to him, there's another generation that thinks differently. Because even in American hip hop, there's someone that thinks that Rakim is the god. You know, there's another one that thinks that, yo, it ain't Rakim, it's Nas. You know, there's another generation, it ain't Nas, it's Lil Wayne. Another generation say, nah, it ain't Lil Wayne, it's Kanye. Someone is saying it's Drake. So generations literally keep on changing the classic albums. And that's okay, because it just means that the sound is also progressing to speak to a new generation. Because imagine you guys were still listening to Kool Herc's sound from 1978. You know what I mean? Even he wouldn't connect with that. So this argument of classic albums, let it like keep changing, because it means that the sound also keeps changing. And it's very important for us. I mean, SpeeKa, you are talking right now. You know, people go to art galleries and they go, ooh, it's so abstract. I'm gonna spend 2 million on this. You know, rich people do that, you know. Broke people, us, we listen, go, ooh, the punchlines, the metaphors. guys, it's culture. You know what I mean? So we think that it's okay for us to care about the lines, the punchlines. Although I literally said that into to like people, but it's okay for us because that's a piece of culture that we can kind of connect with. It's like, it's grammar, it's art, it speaks to us, it's culture. It's okay for us to actually like care about those niche things. But it's also okay for us to go, shit, Smamani, 25K, did $1 million. So all I'm just saying, guys, don't throw the underground away and don't throw the skill and the architect of writing, because I'm telling you, there are guys who buying pieces of art that you go, but he gonna go, yo, the way he did his strokes, the strokes, that's us too. Do you know what I mean? So don't devalue this, the architect of this culture, because people go, me, I'm rapping hard. I got some shit where I'm just rapping. I ain't singing, it's just raps. You know, I just rap. And then I got them other shit where I'm writing like singing songs or whatever the case be, because I'm a creative. I release every part of this thing that's inside of me. You know what I mean? So don't sleep on the lyrical side. Don't sleep on the metaphor side. Don't sleep on the cipher side. Don't go to a party nabuchiri kuphela. Iyakule amajita ngoba ngithi abuchiri abazwanga zele yake amajita namhlanje, you know what I mean? Iyakule amajita ke only, you know? And then ke ungaye ke ufaka iperfume mawuphume ekhwapheni ke yobona abuchiri kulezi ke ama hip hop nights, abo Speedster, you know, where there's some dope girls
Hip hop
also.
floor.
In hip hop floor, you know, my nigga Speedster. There's a balance, guys. This is hip hop. Sida ngole corner, sida geze corner. This is our culture. You dig?
Yeah, speaker.
And just to
Yeah, give it up, give it up.
I also feel like the respect has to be, you know, two ways, because he mentioned that now the OGs have to, you know, listen to the kids, but also the kids need to not only listen to the OGs but give the OGs respect. The first time someone called me an old nigger online was when I simply said, nah guys, we need to give Zabs his flowers. This kid came on, you old niggas, you think that you must always look to the past, always the old, nah. You know, so I feel like some of the newer cats, most of the time, they don't care. They just want Reese. You give them Reese, everything else before Reese doesn't match. I remember there was a top 10, who's the top 10 dopest producers or whatever, and everyone listed, you know, your mash beats or whatever, and then Tina, yeah, my cat, I must figure it out, Dome, Battle Cat. I was like, but those guys, they're not relevant now, Moose, you know? So the younger cats need to also respect the older cats, because that's another thing that sets us apart with the guys, Kada Estates. They revere their OGs, whereas this side, we see the OGs as just old niggas.
Why do they think like age is a diss? Like you're an old head.
I don't get it. You know?
I don't get it. A nigga my age was like, y'all gotta understand the difference between an OG. I'm like, nigga.
And a nigga that's old.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But we're not there. We're not them.
What did he say to you?
Yeah. Who?
You're better. What did they
I think
And y'all gotta understand the difference between an OG and a nigga that's just old.
Yo.
I sampled it. Actually, I have a song. Check it out on YouTube. It's called "An OG versus a nigga that's old." That's the title.
And then I think what we also need to just touch on as well is artist development.
Yeah.
And artist development, what Slikour was saying is it comes through connecting with the underground as well. So now, with regards to, I could say, the event, the open mic sessions and all that. For me personally, I think that's also a very important part of the whole shebang, because now a lot of our cats right now that are seen or perceived as great, when you actually see them on the mic and actually perform, as dope as the track is, there's a missing element of performance, so to speak. And the underground, that's where you actually learn and develop those skills. Battle rap as well. Like we had an incredible year of battle rap events, month in, month out, with various battle leagues operating. We've had a whole lot of upcoming events, open mic sessions as well. You know what I'm saying? So that's also where you grow and develop your artistic style and all that. So I just wanted to add on to like what everyone is saying.
And I think we've covered quite a lot, and we should move on to Q&A, right? But before we get there,
Not yet. We spoke about rap and rappers.
Yeah.
I want us to touch on like eventing, the events, the importance, and how can we like improve more moving forward to help hip hop as well, because it's not just rap music.
Right.
There's a lot of aspects involved. You know, and before moving from rap, I wanted to talk to SpeeKa, to ask SpeeKa. Anyone can answer about Kasi Rap.
Hello, what's up?
I've been to Cape Town. 90% it's Paza, which is Kasi Rap. You go to Durban, 90% of shit that's happening at Bad Center, it's Kasi Rap. Go to Soweto, Sotra, it's like 99% Kasi Rap. But we don't see that reflecting on the mainstream. What's the stumbling block?
Well, I think the biggest stumbling block is people just showing up for each other, you know?
Yeah.
One of the big things back in the day, like with music videos, we used to always go like, remember when I missed the era of SA Hip Hop when Slikour and Sugar Smacks were in every music video, right?
Yeah.
They were showing up
Yeah.
for their peers. So I feel like in Kasi Rap, because a lot of the cats, they do have egos, right? So when you throw when you host a certain event, this one cat won't attend because Zingah, hip hop, you know. so it's just a matter of showing up for each other, because when you show up for each other, I think the supporters see that and they're like, okay, whereas if we're constantly bickering and trying to out nigger each other. they'll be so gross.
Out nigga each other is hilarious.
Yeah.
I think also when it comes to Kasi Rap, I feel like the people who still live in that space and wanna still represent Kasi Rap should also allow for what Kasi Rap is to evolve and develop into a newer, fresher version of what Kasi Rap is. Because for me, when I look at somebody like a Touchline, to me, Touchline is Kasi Rap. Like,
Yeah.
But he doesn't use the same old beats that represent Kasi Rap. He doesn't use the same old styles of...
And Bizet on the Ntsimbis Bali.
You feel me? It's
Yeah.
like, I feel like in order for Kasi Rap to be able to represent itself on a brighter space, it should allow itself to grow into a newer version of itself and not always be what it was in the corner back in whenever that was.
Yeah, I agree. I think Touchline and KO are good example of like the evolution of Kasi Rap. You know, yeah, he's on the Nutswako.
But here's the thing also, you know, where we are now today is, and you got to think of like how the world works with programming, right? I remember when I was growing up, there was different kinds of MTV. There was an MTV that had classics, you know. There was the MTV that was like playing new stuff, you know. I think where we are in South Africa for content creators, here's a little idea. You don't have, and even like in America right now, there's this other platform called Embrasio for Heads or whatever the case be on Instagram. And the content opportunity and the stories that are open for us to tell now is that you can have a platform for everything that King Future's listening to, right? You can have a platform for the OGs, right? And you can have a platform just for Kasi Raps. These are like 3 different content programming channels.
Yeah.
You know that like Future Mfana, when he wants to go listen to the OG from Kasi Rap, because there's always going to be something that's viral in one of these triangles, you know? Because it's not like everyone that tries to do a song like Aries or Nasty C, they end up on the charts. Some of them, they crash. They don't even make the numbers, right? Not like everyone that's rapping underground is not gonna have a verse that like people are gonna go, yo, you heard that shit crazy. That's viral. Not like anyone, I mean, from the OGs, not like there's not gonna be a song that's gonna create nostalgia that the kids go, yo, we need to sample that. That shit was dope, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, we need to stop bulking this thing as one thing. We need to start breaking it apart. And in order from King Future to respect that, and in order for the OGs to respect King Future, in order for Kasi Rap to also connect, is that everybody literally needs to be for the content creators out there. Everybody needs to take the initiative to be a custodian, because if you do the research and you do the time and you are consistent, I promise you there's enough content to tell stories about all 3. And the dope thing is that all 3 will basically end up feeding into each other one way, because the user won't go, oh, that's the Kasi Rap, oh, that's the this. So on your platform, whoever told you that you're an OG, it's because it's a mix. Because he went there, but I must know that, no, there I'm going for this. You know what I mean? And then for me, then you literally create like even a little events for that. So when you start doing the ciphers, then you create little events that are linked to the online. And that, all the content creators, if you really want to work in hip-hop and you just don't want to rap, there's an opportunity there's so much old hip-hop, South African hip-hop, so much stories, so much guys that you could maybe they're not performing anymore, you could just phone them and say, hey, what was this like? You could write a little article. You could own the legacy of it. So the reason is not in the respect. If you don't document, it's like the Bible. How you going to literally like be religious if there's no Bible? How you going to, so why I ain't mad at the kids if they don't, if like, I'm not mad at Future going, you know, okay, AKA Casper, they found the sound. Who's documenting the stories of what happened? So there's an opportunity there, guys, just for all the content creators.
It's just like, of what you're saying with the content creation. All of us here have different platforms, podcasts, you've got Sotra Cyphers, you've got King Future and Underground. What do you think our responsibility is as the people who are now contributing to the culture in that way? What's our responsibility to up-and-coming young artists who also trying to get the same shine and the same platform that the bigger guys that we interview are getting?
My thing is, you know, like, my thing is, sure. Me, like, I strongly believe, dog, like, if someone is whack, dog, you have to tell them. Because people end up treating all these platforms like they are talent shows, you know. Okay. And they're not, you know. If you're trying to get on somewhere, you must know that, okay, sharp, I'm not there yet. I'll have to work on my skill, and then that's the best way. Because I've had cats where I've told like, nah, man, you need to like, you know, listen to more, write more, and then once you're good, I'll submit again, and then I'll hear you out. Cats have a week later. How about now? Like, nah, dog. It might take you 6 months. Yeah. It might take you a year. And the problem with them not accepting that it might take you a year is because of the generation that we live in, where everything is fast. Yeah. Where you said I'm whack today, tomorrow I'm gonna be nice. Nah, homie.
It's gonna be a while.
Next year.
Dog.
So,
yeah.
And I hate to use that word, but it is what it is. We have to gatekeep.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
Just to follow up on that, it's not that easy because most of the white kids are rich, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know what I mean. They have the budget for PR and plugging and all those things. The next thing you hear them on radio, you see them on TV, and then you hear this song, the dopest song you've ever heard, but you can't do anything about it. You talk to this guy, like, yeah, talk to me. You know what that means. Yeah, I hear the song, but talk to me. You know what I mean? So we have that when Squatter Camp broke into mainstream, Libo Pro Kid, Libo, there were no middlemen. There were no, like it was solely on talent. There were no PR companies.
Yeah.
It was like, yo, Sipostole saw these guys and he liked them and wanted to sign them. There was no middleman to say, yo, if you pay me this much, I can take you to this level. That's what we're dealing with right now. You know, someone who's going to put you on, you must pay him. And then when you're there, you need to pay someone else to play your music. You need to pay someone else to do this and that. And it's gotten to that, you know. A rich kid, a whack rich kid is going to look at you with your dope rhymes, with your sick songs. Like, so what?
The rich kids haven't met me.
I think
Responsibility.
I think the put on conversation also has like a twofold thing to it, and I feel like sometimes we put too much emphasis in the put on conversation. It's like, yes, there's platforms and there's people who have spaces that will put you on, but I don't think that should be a conversation. I think what we should be telling up and coming artists is, go out there and get it. Like when we look at a Smamane and a Tony, I'm not sure if anybody put those niggas on for them to be where they at. Those niggas grinded it out. They figured out how to use TikTok to their advantage. They figured out how to shoot their reels and push their songs to get those numbers, to get those eyes, and to get people to say, okay, I had no idea who this kid is, but I keep seeing him all the time, and every time I see him, he's doing fire shit. And that eventually led them to a place where all the platforms now say, yes, the door is open, come in, big dog, light work.
Yeah.
And I think we should have that conversation more than we have the conversation of, okay, so what are you going to do for the... Why? Let the niggas do it themselves.
True, I agree.
spoon feeding.
And the podcast are a mirror reflection of what's happening. We hear who's buzzing, we talk about him, or we bring him to the podcast. You're not gonna meet me at the mall or on the street, say, yo, I wanna come do an interview on a podcast. Who are you again? You know, you must buzz and like, yo, OG, did you hear this kid? We start talking about it, and a lot of people will hear and go look for that. You know what I'm saying? So you cannot start on the podcast with your hustle when you haven't done anything.
And actually, crazy story that I want to share. I remember I had this producer nigga when I started rapping. This is probably like 09, 10 or whatever. And I was still at Vitz, and Tear Gas were there. So they jump out the whip, and I'm like, yo, I want to go jam about these niggas, my songs and whatever. And my producer nigga was like, why? These niggas are artists just like you. Why do you want to jam them your music? So I learned, I was like, oh, shit. Then I went and grinded it out, did my full clip shit, and fast forward, then KO comes back and calls me for the Cash Time shit. And it's like, this nigga was absolutely right. And what he taught me in that moment was, which a lot of new artists do now, like they spend a lot of time in like popping artists' DMs saying, yo, here's my shit, check me out. No, tell the people you made the music for to check you out. This guy is making music for the same people. Why do you want him to check your shit out?
Yep, I
Nice.
have a similar story. That is 100% true because, again, also speaking for myself, I used to send countless emails to Slikour on live. Guys, please, man, put me on. Please, I'm nice. I have this platform right? And then when I stopped eventually bothering and sending emails, like, let me just focus on this thing. Fast forward, the first time I saw an article on Slikour about Sotra ciphers, I'm not gonna front, I cried literal tears because I was like, I remembered all those emails, right? And that's so this thing of, okay, instead of knocking and just focusing on your grind and what you do, the doors will automatically, you know?
Yeah. And another thing, I know, Samke, we're now tired, sesikhathele like, ukukokode emnyango yabo, and manje into enzekayo, umnyango asakokodi, sesawubheka sindlule noma ukhahlele ungene, ngoba leyo kokota uzenza unomphela, ngeke ilunge bafethu. So in whatever you do, invest in social media kakhulu ugqile kuyona, like focus on your social media. Buy that ring light here, buy 150 ring lights. Rap your own lyrics there on TikTok. One is gonna blow up. Cover for Cotton Fest lineup this year. Baby Days, all these brews who rap in those accents like it was internet brews. And they are fire gents. I'm not saying they whack. They could be like rappers. Look at Amastream, Abosonabile, like they take out songs, are competing Abos Mamane. Like Abeko was competing with Czech for the winter, bro. And that's not cap. I go to work, but then focus on other things. I will focus on styling, another thing, bro. Like be representable. And then, thank you.
Okay, cool. Before we go to Q&A, I want to ask Slikour about, because you work a lot with corporates. How do artists or promoters or managers brand themselves to be attractive to sponsors and endorsements?
I think we.
Yeah.
E1 lentolena, guys. You know, you gotta ask yourself, and this comes. It's not even a hip hop thing. You know, Future said something very important. He said, "Yo, focus on your social media." You know, Zingah, SpeeKa, both of them said, "Wait, just focus on building yourself." As much as you want a brand to work with you, a brand is built. A brand already has an audience. All a brand is asking for is to associate with people who literally can make them keep their audience. So the question is, who is your audience? You know, more busy. Like I'm like Smash. Like Zingah saying, if you're busy still chasing the artist that like you need to build an audience with. Social media has built these channels where you could literally post and create a channel and engage with people and everything else. All these things are there. So it's not just your song that's gonna help you, it's how you nurture your audience. You know, it's how you, it's almost like community management. You must track everything that you do, right? That's how you build a brand. I mean, for me, I've got a personal page, and this is like the power of social media, which is funny for me. I've never released anything before as a rapper on social media, I think. Since like social media has been popping, I guess it's a Facebook, you know? And you know, the post that's got the most interaction is the one where I'm rapping. You know, shit, last night I recorded another person.
Welcome back.
You know, but the point is that yeah, you know, I'm the OG. I'm not coming in to rap for competition, but I'm seeing that, yo, what's up? I'm seeing that like, this social media thing actually, no wonder y'all kids don't radio. It's like this video is sitting on like 33,000 views. You know what I mean? It's got, I don't know how many comments. Man, I'm gonna just drop another video, you know, like in 2 weeks and shoot it and just rap. Because also the way I'm rapping is is like rap, you know? And then I'm gonna give you my songs like next year, which I've shot videos for also. So I've always had the idea that, because the reason why I haven't released my music, I'm just like, I'm not just gonna release J. I was like, let me just, some people don't even know I rap, you know? Some people like, you know, the OG's on fire. I'm like, niggas have been rapping. You know, like Pops make that thing, that joke that he made, you know, about that verse on Banger Banger, you know? But y'all guys don't, some of y'all guys don't even know where that's coming from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But even that song, if you had to listen to what we were doing on that song, which was 15 years ago, the type of beat it was on, it's everything that Patrick Lee is doing right now, you know? The way I was rapping to like the rhythm of the beat. It just was different, right? So it's part of technique, but technique doesn't mean that everybody's gonna embrace it. Doesn't mean that everybody's gonna understand it, you know? So go back to social media, go do your thing, Iba blind, work on it, and you will see people engage. And when people engage, you will literally pull the KOs of the world, the people who literally like Zingah did. That's how, so don't even worry about a brand. Worry about what am I giving? Because a brand knows that like they are giving beer to people who like to go to parties, who like to go to dinners, who like to go, but what are you giving? A lot of y'all don't know what you want to do. Who are you in the music you create? Do you think Maglera doesn't know who he is? Think about that. Do you think Blackie doesn't know who he is? You know? Do you think Ovelo Watula Nje sounded like Watula? That nigga knew who he is. So a lot of y'all, you know rap more than you know yourself. You know hip hop more than you know yourself. And then you want to come into this thing and just be in the wave. Hip-hop only works when you know yourself. Hip-hop was actually a tool to make people know who you are. In fact, music, the creativity, not even music, this thing that comes inside here. So when you are not sure who you are and you release a song, it's going to be received the same way. Not that it's not angiko shongayo. I've heard whack-ass niggas, but they whack with conviction, nigga. They literally like, but they are saying some shit that ilan increase nyabo. But they offbeat. They literally like, it's the technique of the artist, but ipumalana. And you're like, and when you listen it from a technical perspective, you don't feel it. But when you listen for where was this guy coming from, you go, oh, damn, that's what he said. You know, because that guy knows who himself is. Who he is bigger than hip-hop. Hip-hop is just your tool. Like social media is just your tool. And if you are able to use those things, then you can ask me how to speak to a brand. You know what I mean? So nina kwamanje nifuna ungena ku brand mara nizazi nokuzazi. Nifuna ukusayina nizazi nokuzazi. Yekelani hip hop nisibheke, the man in the mirror. That's all.
Yeah, very fire point. And just to add a little bit to that, that's a very important thing for artists that are coming up and even artists that are still figuring themselves out. I think the biggest thing to figure out is yourself. Because another thing that people should realize and click into is your fan base is fans of you. Like they like your shit, not because you fire. That helps. Being fire helps. I'm not saying don't be fire. Don't get it, just be fire. But they like you. They like how you do it. They like what makes you you is what makes them like what you do. Because other people could do exactly what you're doing and it will not fly. But when it comes from you, they're like, I know, that's that shit. So always go find that piece of yourself and put it on the art. Facts.
Pastor Mike, you know what? I say the example of what you're saying is, and it probably wasn't in your generation, guys, but I always used to listen to what Flabber would say. And I would go, you know, because I'm an artist, I go, let me just go re-say his lyrics. And it never hit the way he said it. You know what I mean? The way some of and I was like, this shit is cheesy though. Some of this shit, you know? Because you know what? The way he was saying it, oh man, it was just like, it was his, it belonged to him. And the one thing about Flabber, I listened to a lot, I was so hip-hop, I listened to a lot of Flabber wasn't even listening to a lot of hip-hop. So Flabber was digging from himself. So there was more of Flabber, and then, you know, yeah, I'd say, yeah, he likes Eminem, he likes Onyx, but he wasn't a guy like us where we were like consuming he literally like, that's why Flabber could just stand out, because he was not inspired by, yeah, he loved rap, but he wasn't inspired by everything outside. And when you know when you say something that's a truth, that's your truth, and someone says it as a lie, it's not their truth. They can say, yo, my phone is white, and you can go, yeah, nigga, you're lying, your phone is black. But there could be a guy who literally is lying about the phone is white. But the way he says it, it's like it's shy. Because uyakwazi ukushaya yabo that i-black diring yabo i-black ngoba yaba because yabo he's mastered it. And even when we talk about building who you are, you master. It's not like you're gonna get your sound today. No pressure, but work on building a sound. You know, it's not like Blackie was it's not like McLaren was. McLaren literally like it's almost how many? When was the joint he did with Cooley that he featured on years ago? 10 years. Like McLaren's literally defining his sound to be heard as himself in the past 2-3 years. A sound is something you build by learning the more of who you are, by learning your environment, by learning that this is how I can deliver, articulate. Oh, I don't think this sounds nice. Listen to what you are saying also. And if that shit also makes you cringe, say, was I lying? Why? Because there's some shit that you're saying and you're like, why don't I sound confident? Deliver, why not deliver the way do you understand? Listen to your music like that, because that's how you get to your truth, and that's how you improve the craft also. And part of it is that when you hear it and you go, you know, I be with bitches, I'm always got these riches. You know, you saying that shit and like yeah, even ngisho ngiperforma angishayi ngale yo energy mangithi yo, it's tough out here niggas, you know I feel, but you got these bitches, whoever bitches is just said you tough, boy. You understand? So the truth is so important, because the truth is what you carry on stage. The truth is what's carried through the speaker. The sound is the truth that comes into our hearts whenever you come it, and our hearts reject it if it's not truth. It's not music. It's not hip-hop. It's truth. All these are tools for us to express our truth. That's why they call it culture. Do you understand? So remove the idea of hip-hop. It's called, that nigga that created the log drum was sitting there and his mind was in a deep place creating a truth in a space that would literally like change the world. Truth literally translates in sound, in words, in beats, in poetry. It translates in design, in clothing, in just the way you speak, guys. So stop lying. Stop lying. You're not successful not because hip-hop is not working, it's because you are lying, you know, to yourself. And you think, and you know what the universe goes? The universe goes, just in case, that shit is not going to hit. That's how the universe protects us. So the universe protects the listener by going, you know why love songs work? Because everybody falls. Well, most love songs, if they're written well, work because everybody has a heartbreak. Everybody loves, everybody wants. So if you could do it from a truthful place, then you are on the lane, my G. So igalano kuluma manga, do you even actually even want to be here? You know? Stop lying.
I like that. Let's go into.
All right, you heard. One of the elements of hip hop is knowledge of self. That's what he was talking about.
Sure.
We're gonna go to a Q&A. There's a roaming mic on the floor. If you have a question, comment, suggestion, just raise your hand. You can direct it to any of us or to all of us.
Okay, I have a question.
You have a question?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Nani Kamala Musia. I'm not a rapper, but I contribute to hip hop with my camera. I wish there was someone from the arts and culture in that panel. But I want to ask, like, what's the strategy in getting money back into hip hop, right? Because even if I'm a promoter, right, and I make events, it's tough because I know these niggas are gonna pull up.
Do we have a handheld? Are we gonna see him?
Sorry?
The cameras.
Artie.
We need a camera on him, on the audience.
So I was saying that even if I run events, it's quite difficult for me because I know these niggas are gonna come there with their own lean. So I don't know how I'm supposed to monetize. This thing is shit expensive, sorry for my language. But it's hard for me to break even in this industry, right? Because I can't even plan music videos because he's gonna be like, yo, Poison, can we sell a young visualizer or a lyric video? You know what I'm saying? So my question is, what do you think is the strategy in getting money back into hip hop and for us as, I don't know if the word is called stakeholders, to actually benefit in order for us also to give them the platform? Yeah.
Who's got the answers?
I don't know, man, but
Who's got the answers? Yeah.
You know, the only way hip hop is gonna win is if everybody works together. You know, I promise you, everybody's got at least like 10 rand, 5 rand, 20 rand, 100 rand somewhere. You gotta ask yourself, where you directing your money? You know, even that nigga that's asking for a visualizer, he's on for a visualizer. How much else has he invested in his career? It's also the decisions you make with who do you work with. You know what I mean? It's like if you guys literally like cycle your money. My thing is, it goes back to even talent. Money works the same way. If we literally like are saying that as an artist or whatever the case be, I mean, this is another reason why I've kind of tried to build this financial platform. Let me use the right words. The reason is that I want to eventually get to a point where guys are able to just go, yo, reach out to your fans. Could you guys throw me 100 rand, 1,000 rand, or whatever the case? The community needs to basically like give back to the community. But the truth of the matter, I mean, Gates, as it stands, has lied to us, you know. So we gotta ask ourselves, where are we directing our money? You know. Where are we directing our money? Are we directing it into the culture? Are you with a person or an artist who's actually like investing in their career with the little they have? You know? Because investing in a career, okay, you've got a streaming subscription, cool. You might make a little money, you're saving. So I also always say that as an artist, just don't think, don't humble yourself enough to go do something else, even if you're working at a call center, to literally be able to pay for the craft. Because right now, there's a lot of people that don't want to pay for the craft. They just think that they should get it for free. So the decisions of who you also work with literally have to be better to kind of go, I think this guy, I don't mind giving this guy a discount, or I don't mind doing this one for free because I can see that this guy will get to here and here. So even the decisions of the people that we work with or that we want to help have to be a little bit more well thought of, and it can't be bruskap. Do you know what I mean?
Let's get the next question.
yeah, before the next question, last time I got some flag for saying hip hop attracts broke people. You know, I remember I used to host the sessions, the masterclass sessions, free. Every week, OG and I would discover rappers to put on radio every week without a fail. But the problem was, because it was just free events, the owners of the venue started complaining. The place, week in and week out, the venue is full. But these guys are not spending, are not buying anything. He even made an example the other time. He said, because we used to do on Sunday, today you had 500 people. On Friday, I had 100 Amapiano people, but they made 10 times more what I make with these overcrowded people of yours, you know. So I ended up not doing it anymore because they were giving me a tough time with venues, you know. Sometimes we don't support each other, and it comes back to bite us. All those people who used to put on radio every week, it's not happening anymore because of those minor issues. We can move to the next question. Yeah, switch it on.
Okay. Igama lami nguThulani, ne? Also known as Thuli Tools. So what I want to know is that, well, I have two questions, rather. What I want to know, okay, do you guys understand Tswana, ne? Kopa bua ka Setswana. Okay. So like, as an artist who's still coming up, since, well, I heard you guys talking about having a specific sound as an artist. Like, what kind of effect does it have on me if you're, because now sometimes it goes with the feeling that you have when you're in studio. Today I might be in studio with somebody who does trap, and then the concept resonates with me, and then I feel like I could hop on something like that. And then the next day I could be with somebody who is doing, I don't know, maybe boom bap, and then I still hop on that. And then in my own space, maybe on a certain day I'm coming from a club or whatever, and then I'm feeling that whole piano movement. Like, what kind of effect does it have on me as an artist coming up? And then secondly, I want to know, hey, Tlamodi music video, ne? Since like I guess we've established the fact that hip hop is, sorry to say this, a broke community, or how much it does to keep him on. But as much as I've invested, I've taken out money to buy my equipment, I've taken out money to buy a camera and so forth. So now, seeing that I've invested in all this equipment, but then I'm not good at engineering, I'm not good at visual editing. Is it also a negative thing, like when I keep dropping all these visuals on the level that I can produce them? Like, what kind of effect does it have on me as an upcoming artist?
Sheesh. I'll take the first one. I think that first question, where the answer goes back to, is the conversation of knowing and being yourself. Your sound is who you are, regardless of what type of beat you're on. So like a great example is Sjava. Like Sjava will always, wherever he's at, he'll make the thing sound like his. Like whether he's on the trap song, whether he's on the soul, whether he's on Afro beats doing Mbela, or whether Kendrick is featuring him, like wherever you place him, you'll feel this Java when it gets there. So regardless of what type of thing you're jumping on and whatever space you're in at that point, as long as you bring the same person that you are every time you get on there, it'll resonate as you when you're on there. Who wants the second one?
Oh, yeah, your sound is a piano. When you're featuring Nominate Trap, like we said, you've been swallowed by the idea of trap. So that means you don't know what your sound is. It's like, that's just a beat. There's no trap sound. There's no, who are you inside that? So that's what you need to, that's what I've been saying. So piano, agnandaba, when ubani, maulapo. You understand? And going back to the video, you're saying like, well, maybe I was saying that, you know why DJs are always working and hip-hop is literally, because like Rashid says, I mean, the gentleman that was asking the question earlier on about like spend and everything else, it's because rappers nina, like uncertain nama pen, send palama lyrics in my phone in, you know? So, nale phone leo mhlambe is a handover phone, no itole gopi. Like, ayikho into ibhadalele wena elifini. DJ, you must know a DJ is buying some decks, is buying something. So that's why the DJ is literally like, they'll be pushing harder. But rap is so, you got in like almost for free, you know? That's why you guys think that everything else should come for free. You know, there's no investing. So it just, I don't know if I'm answering your question, but it's just that thing that, yeah, you could invest in this and that, but the truth of the matter is that you got to start choosing the people you work with, because I'm telling you, that's the good thing about rap. We said there's the guys who are doing 1 million streams, there's the guys who are mid-tier, and there are the guys who are doing it for recreational. You know what recreational means? Asiyanza nje. And then we keep asking these guys, hey guys, anpatalen, and you guys are doing it recreational. Do you know what I mean? You're not gonna die for this thing, you know. I mean, if tomorrow, like, you get a job as in a call center agent, it's social, you know. So that's the thing about hip hop. But like DJs, a DJ literally, he can come and go. Maybe I'm using Zingah's decks, but I'm always with Zingah, and then one day I'll probably get my decks or whatever the case be. Those guys literally build themselves. You know what I mean? And rapping also comes for free sometimes. You know, you can just rap out of the blue. You know.
Just to add on to the part where you were talking about buying your own equipment and not knowing how to engineer or use some of the stuff, I think for up-and-coming artists, it's very important to collaborate with other up-and-coming artists, you know? If you want to work with Slikour or Zingah, you might have to take out a fee for that. But your boy who you know has been doing this for years, you can call him into your studio, you guys use your equipment, you collaborate, and I think you might even have something bigger come out of that than if you are looking to work with big guys or you're looking to do everything on your own.
I think also just if the fear of running up your entire budget is the issue that you're running into, don't be afraid to make smaller investments. I think in the day and age we live in, with socials and the internet being as alive as it is, you don't always have to go straight to the music video and go shoot a whole music video. Like, shoot reels and shoot them shits and throw them on TikTok and let the reaction and response to what you get from those little smaller videos let you know where to invest in the actual then music video that you can go put in your real budget into.
Oh, we have more questions.
Okay, guys, so if you have a question, may you please come stand here. And so after the person who has asked the question, come just stand here in the queue if you have a question. Thank you.
Okay, Sanbonan Dumelang Lekai. I go by the name of Kumza. I represent the Deep Slot back in the north, the real north.
Thank you, Kum.
Just to say only a few is to comment. Sotra is saying that I'm taking it back to Kasi Hip Hop, you know. We're the only hip hop movement that represents the North Side hip hop sessions. So our rapper, our buyer, like you were always saying, Uti, they want to see the end results, the success, but they don't want to see Uti Spanaganchani in the roots where rap ibiakon, Kasi, like the hardcore Kasi rap. Sila today we want to shine like Abu Zingah, we want to be like, you understand, but we don't want to work. As Funuk Kala Emakasi and Shama hip hop session supportaneni as a collective, you know, Ogutai, society Ishaya hip hop session. So usodranyeka zwakale Deep Slot because amajita se Deep Slot bazompekela phansi because we are Soweto, you know. That's when we need to go out, sisapotaneni as a culture, like the way we're doing today. Lana, we go out there, bafethu siyabonga for the support, and then we can like, okay, sharp siyabonga bafethu. And one last thing engingathanda ukuyisho vye ukuthi ama-gents like you know your old hard sotra for your old I'm an OG myself, but I'm saying bafethu if ninaso isikhathi just visit the north. The Samke no Rashid they did, but just when you have time, zwakalani bafethu.
Invite us. We were there when you invited us. Just send an invite.
Okay, I'm singing it now. Like sicelani zwakaleni bafethu futhi. It's a different venue this time around. So invest ekasi nani majita alana sizwile music wenu. You guys are dope. You know, keep doing what you're doing. Lo mnyango lo oshoyo ukuthi sizodlula vele because kudala bawuvala ngithi asivuleni wethu. Social media is doing that. TikTok now, it's our door to do things. So bafethu, I'm just saying thank you for the platform for today so that we can network and get more information. Thank you.
Away. Two last questions because of time. We're gonna take two last questions. We still have performances coming. Your question?
Chapfere, Nayame is simple. So I just wanna ask all of you sitting there because from my side and my journey, I've seen most of you achieve things not just simply because you were doing music, but simply because of the community projects and the corporate projects that you were involved in. So in that space, I wanna know between you, remember we have more like two planes, né? So there's an artist and there's a manager and there's an investor. I want to know in that time frame, what was running more in your mind? You as an artist that jumped into studio, record all that music, or the manager that made sure that we can get deals or we can make sure that we go to libraries, or the investor that knew that if we can invest this much, this manager can be able to take this product that the artist took out to make money. Because I'm an actor, but I can rap. I just love rap because I have rap friends. But I've never got paid through music. The only time I got paid was when I made my own events with the same artist that they were claiming they were not getting booked or not getting cash, but we made cash. So I just want to know from your side, who was operating 24/7, the artist, the manager, or the investor? Thank you.
I like that question. Before you guys answer, it also goes back to the whole the age-old question of who's more important, the person with the idea or the person that executes it, you know? And I don't think you can have either without the other. So from my side, I think all three of those things work together for you to have one piece of art, one painting. Without that one, I don't think this one can be that great. Without that, you can't. So it's just about what's better for you, the person who creates the idea or the person who executes it.
Yeah, and me personally, I feel like if you're an artist, if you are not obsessed with what you do and your craft, then forget then about assembling a team. Because I'm a horrible graphic designer. Horrible, but 4-star. Because, you know, at some point I had no choice. Everything that I did it like on my own. I shot everything on my own, edited the beats, everything, because I was that hungry for it, and I genuinely love what I do. And when you focus on what you do, just as a creative, you will attract people that want to naturally help you out. Like if you are nice at what you do, say for example, if you're a rapper, you will meet a beat maker who thinks you're so nice that they'll give you free beats. You will meet a graphic designer who goes, "Ah man, who's designing your artwork? I'll do it for," and then that's how you build your team. So I would say rather be so obsessed with what you do that it naturally attract your team will assemble itself. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, I just to add on that, you know, everything else around the creative stuff could be preempted. You know, you can go study graphic design, you could go study how to be a manager, you could go study marketing, you could do. The thing about like being a unique talent and being a star, that's something God gives you, you know. So the thing, it's gonna start with what God has given you. Everyone is gonna rap, but only a few people are literally have Michael Jackson in them. Only a few people have Nasty C in them. Only a few people have A-Reese in them. You know, everybody can rap, but only a few people have that thing that God said, you are gonna take it there. That thing attracts the team. You know, and if you, and part of that, I mean, this doesn't come without the artists actually working on their craft. I always use the example where I go, maybe let me use an example with Casper and Tilly, you know. I mean, Tilly literally hasn't worked with a bigger artist than Casper, you know. But Tilly's good as a manager. The service is good. But the way that Casper has been working over the years is rare. You know, Benza hasn't worked with a bigger artist, rap artist than AKA. Do you understand? It's never the management that's bigger than the artist. There's this unique thing. It's like, you know, Tabis and them used to work with KO, and, you know, but KO is still doing it. It's the management company is not bigger than that thing that God says it needs to be. It needs to touch people. Guys, I gotta be spiritual about this thing, because, you know, where melodies and ideas and feelings come from is nothing you go to school for. You don't go to school for this thing. You get chosen, and a team then literally comes. You know why artists might literally be, you know, always maybe inebriated. You know, you meet the guy that like you think is your art, like you think that, this guy is so great. But when you meet him, he's like not in like the greatest condition, you know, he's not, because what God wants him to do with his craft is bigger than him. And sometimes it's so heavy on him that he doesn't even know how to carry himself. And then you want to go, I met him and he was just so, but it's difficult sometimes to serve this thing that God wants you to serve through creativity, through art, through this thing that you cannot touch. But when you see these people, bayakhala Mfana, when I was good, why bakhala, bayacula, you understand? It's heavy. It's a heavy burden for some people to carry. So for them to forget the power of it, they need other things to do that. You understand? That's how big the work of an artist is. And I'm saying these things on purpose so you can go back home and go, is it my job to do this thing? Go home and ask yourself the truth. And if the answer is no, say, maybe I love it, maybe I'm just going to stick to acting then. Maybe I'll just stick to being a video, to supporting that star. And that's what Tilly has done with Casper. He's literally being a huge support for that power. It's not because of Tilly that like Casper's who he is. It's because Casper literally had the drive, but Tilly could make sure that like it literally is consistent. Benza, they could make sure it could be consistent. That's what a manager does. A manager is servicing the work of God through the creativity.
Yo, I go by Losh. I have a YouTube channel with my girl. It's called Urban Frequency with Losh. So we newly established in Feb. What we do is we pick up posters online, we do a promo video, we go to events and we just shoot random artists. If we like you, we ask for an interview, right? So that's us. We're still in our teething phase. But one thing I've noticed, and I'm hoping that you guys can shed some light, because I'm not as big as Slikour, right? When I put out a promo video or an interview, we will push that online on our platforms, but the artists themselves will just share once and they don't help promote. So now I'm wondering, I have my 9 to 5, okay? I can support myself, but we're here for the culture, we want to contribute, and we're hoping that we grow together, but we're not getting much help from them. But I hear questions where you're asking Rashid K, when are you gonna start approaching certain artists who are up and coming and help them promote. But what about us who are trying to get to a point where it's mutually beneficial, okay? We don't have a lot of viewers, but through you, we can actually reach a point where we grow as a platform and you grow as an artist. And maybe it's not a question for you guys, but the artists who are here, I just need to know, like, what are we doing? Yes, of course, we're gonna improve in how we put out our content, how often we do it, because we do have lives and what we do. But what are we doing wrong? What do you guys need for you guys to start promoting our work, which is your work, essentially?
Let me try to answer that. That's something you negotiate. You know, it's like being a promoter. If I book an artist, he has no obligation to post the flyer or to promote the event. That's something you negotiate with the artist to say, yo, I'd like you to do this for me. Other artists, you pay for that. You pay them for that, you know, to tweet about the event or to post the flyer. You know, you cannot just assume that because I was interviewing you, you're going to post about it or you're going to share a link, you know. So there has to be an understanding. Say, yo, I want you to help me grow as a channel, you know, so we can both grow. You know, sometimes artists feel they too big. Sometimes the channels feel they too big than the artist. So it's something that you can communicate.
Yo, how I feel like it's consistency from you as a broadcaster. So because you see the thing with broadcasting, it needs a lot of patience. Samke Kulesbuga ETV, and the shows we grew up on, about She's Knees, about Selima Tunzi, those shows existed. They were prime time. Every artist used to go there. But then there were other shows, Mabuya Skela, like on Soweto TV, you'd get street radio. I don't know if everyone knows it. From street radio, there was a presenter, Abatu Sparks. Not saying Abantu Abamazi, people knew who he was, but then he wouldn't get the interviews. Lawa Watola Manje njengoba kuSelima Tunzi. The very same presenter, because he was so consistent throughout all these years. He finally I don't know how to put it, but then his piece of the pie. For me, I also have like a podcast. It also started in Feb, yeah. But we'd go to these events, we'd go with those small microphones. No one knew us, no one would vibrate towards us. But then now I'm doing interviews for Slikour on live. It's to the point which I don't approach those artists anymore myself. There's people who have a span on Slikour like, yo, we are on Slikour on live. Immediately the artist will be like, oh, okay. Okay, now that's heavy. Okay, they'll agree to the interview. And trust me, I got more interviews with bigger artists while I was on Slikour on live. Not saying what I was doing back then is bad, but then it's being consistent throughout the whole phase and getting working with other people, because collaborating as a broadcaster on other platforms too, it grows your content like heavy. Thank you.
Shout out. Yo, how you doing, my sister? Just to also answer your question, because you said something about you've built your own platform and all that. So I think you should try and look into creating algorithm-friendly content, and then that's what's going to draw your people in, right? And then what you then do by putting niggas on, that then comes on as an addition, because now it sounds to me like you're putting on people onto a platform that doesn't have an audience. So it's a matter of building your audience through like I'm saying, algorithm-friendly content. So it's a matter of, okay, so what's happening right now in the space? You create something because now that's something that everybody's talking about. So through that, you then find your own positioning, your own niche, or like your own style of putting out your content. And through that, because you have now consistent videos coming through and new people also coming through to watch your stuff, you then use those clips to then introduce those people to what you're truly doing. So what I'm basically saying is you need to come up with the front, and then with the front, you then expose people to what you're really doing. Yeah.
One small point as well. I think there's a lot of giving with expectation to get back. I think a more solid place to build from is to give because you're investing, and allow the things that from your investments come to you, come naturally. They'll come find you. Instead of sitting and watching, what am I getting back from what I'm putting in here? Put it in there because that is what you want to do, and it's what is coming from you to invest into the space.
Sure. Last question.
Hello, everyone. My name is Koketsora Pakadi. I'm part of the production industry family as well. I think the question I'm going to pose is to the Masterclass podcast. It's good and well. For me, I see this as obviously a live event, and it's good and well to have an event, to have a panelist, and to advise everybody on further steps to take and how you view things from your side, right? I want to know, or maybe pose a challenge. Yes, people must go out there and do stuff themselves and, go out there and see what they can do by themselves. But since you're here now and we can see you, what are your plans as the masterclass? Why are we here? If I'm just a random person walking by and I come in here and I'm like, oh, actually, what am I going to learn from this place? What am I going to be walking away with? Fine, you don't have to give me your number. You don't have to call me to record me or whatever. But what are the plans for your podcast? And how do you further look on outgrowing the upcoming artists? Because from my perspective and the way I see things is that most artists are broken because they have that idea of, if I make it, then I don't have to stress about anything else. So you find artists here that have been grinding from a very long time ago and they've been rejected. So the spirit is dead, basically. So the reason why they're here, I think, is because they're looking for some kind of hope, right? I think it's profound what you said, that they must go out there and get it themselves, but it also does help, to give the tools, for example. You don't have to give them the bread, but at least show them something, So my question is, what is the masterclass doing today? What are we here for? And in the future, what's coming? Thank you.
Okay.
Nice question.
That's a good question. The Masterclass podcast is doing what we've been doing since episode 1. We're on episode 139. So on every episode, we profile up-and-coming producer and a rap. On every episode, we have that thing called free period, rapper, producer. It's up to you. That on its own, it's a cosign. You can use that clip as a reel. Say, yo, this is what OG, Samke, and Rashid K said about me. They seeing me. The question is, what are you doing for us to see you? You know what I mean? And things like this are for networking. You can talk to Slikour in person. You can talk to Zingah in person after this. Probably you've been sending emails, DMing, but they are here. That's what the masterclass is doing. The next move is on you.
I think to also add, when we started the Masterclass podcast, we realized that there is a space for hip-hop artists or aspiring hip-hop artists who are looking for information that they don't even know where to look for to find it. Based on our experiences, we create literally every episode from 1 to 139 is literally information on how to become the hip-hop artist that you want to become, using the basic guidelines that we've learned in the game that we've seen, So it's not just for us to sit here and talk about, no, go do this, go do that, go do this. We are also here for you to help you do that. So we're not like untouchable where you can't find people. We literally have these kinds of workshops so that people can come, meet us, and we can exchange whatever needs to be exchanged. Music is a big thing that the homies like to give to us. We take that music and we make sure we do something with it. I always say that there's a lot of workshops that are hosted by corporate people who all they want to do is come and do this, but then there's nothing that happens for the artist afterwards. The masterclass also has events that we do where we put on the same people that come to these workshops, we put them on stage, and there's a little bit of a platform for them to do whatever they need to do. So we here, as I don't think anyone can complain and say there's nowhere where I can go where people can hear me. This is literally that platform, because even after this, there'll be performances where you don't know who might hear you, who might meet you, who might like your stuff, and I think that's what we are here to do. We're here to facilitate you becoming the best artist you can be, having gained the knowledge that we can give you.
Yeah, true. And when we, just to add on that, and when we started the Masterclass podcast, was to put the artist on. He was on, when we started, he was on YFM, I was on Metro FM. Okay, I'm on Ukozi FM now. You know, so we still do that. You send us your links, and if the song is nice or radio friendly or dope or whatever, we put it on radio. You know, that's what Masterclass has been doing for the past 4 years.
I think
I got one question, last one. Can I just keep it quick? My name is Ntato. Okay. Long story short, here's the question: is there a ceiling when it comes to street credibility? Like, how far can an artist go representing themselves? Like, maybe my parents only took me to school, bro. They never bought me a studio, nothing. But I got my shit together, hustling on the streets, whatever, blah, blah. Coming into this space and networking and engaging with folks such as yourselves and other engagements I have, like personally, how far can I go representing myself? Like, how do I know that now, fuck it, I should cuff up and get an agent or PR or some shit?
Like Slikour said earlier on, you must know yourself, you know, because I'm sure 99% of the people here can rap. When I started working with Big Zulu, he was more Kasi Rap, but we had to identify the market. Okay, you rap. Who you rapping for? That's when we went the taxi industry route. Okay, these people, even though they're a Maskandi market, how can we bring them to hip hop? That's when the Brentwood thing started. That's when the Ngabi rap started. You need to identify your market, your niche market, because you can't please everyone. You can't be loved by everyone. You need to have your own market. You know, Aries has the slimes. What are you doing it for? Who are you doing it for?
I don't think you need to worry about when you need to look for representation. You just need to start. As we said, the things will come to you. You know, if you're that hot, trust me, Tili, Tabiso, whoever, somebody is going to call you. So if you're worried about when you should worry about representation, it just means that you're not hot enough to be worrying about it. That's the real truth.
That's real.
Thank you guys so much for coming through. You know, we're still here. We're not going anywhere, but it's just the end of the round table. Shout out to my man SpeeKa, Sotra Cypher. Shout out to the Lord of the Jig. Shout out to Slikour on live. Shout out to my man Overyt, Hip Hop on the Grind. Shout out to King Future Mfana in the building. And my partner in crime, my partner in podcast, OG Samke. Give it up for all my panelists.
And one more, please give it up for yourselves for hanging around and taking all the information. We hope it pays off.
That's for sure, that's for sure. Up next, DJ is gonna play some music and we have some performances coming up. I'm still here, you can come talk to me in person. Mr. DJ, let's go, we out.